We have in front of you a 42-inch slider. We manufacture them in several different lengths, starting at 25-inch, 35-inch, which is the most popular. This is a 42-inch, there's a 48-inch and a 72-inch. They're all machined from cast tooling plate, which is stress relieved, because later you'll see where we've hollowed them out underneath. We need to do that. The rotational lock on here, close up of that, that's unlocked. So the slider will completely 360 degrees, but at every 4 degrees you can lock that off again, and that's pretty solid where that stands at the moment. Has a Mitchell bit fitting underneath and a Mitchell fitting on top. In future there will be an option with a 150mm bowl, probably in the next couple of weeks. So a rotational lock, no problems there. Mitchell plate on the top. This has a standard Mitchell plate, but it has 4 keyways on it. We go to the Carriage slide lock brake on here. This locks the Carriage on in its stationary position. We have precision ground, hardened and ground stainless steel rails on the top of here with 8 bearings supporting that. We have a carriage lock here, and we have a very smooth and quiet operation on this unit and its movement. We can fit on the side of here a friction device, which when you've got a heavy camera, maybe with a head and everything on, maybe 50 kilos or something like that, then you need some kind of friction to give you a hand. On this end, our original stops are these shock absorbers. So this comes down and will compress on the end, but nevertheless it's a fairly hard end stop, if you like. On the other end, I've got what are 2 different options, and this is an adjustable magnetic stop, so I can move this along, lock, decide on what length I'm going to use for tracking, and this has 2 magnets which are repelling. And I'm going to push this right up as hard as it will go and let go, and you'll see it springs back. So when you're operating this on your own without an assistant or a grip or something, then who's not telling you you're nearly at the mark, you will find that this has just got a very gentle push away from you. On the very end of this, we have an end stop with a magnet in. This is an option for the short slider. The problem with the short slider is, by the time you take the Carriage off and 2 of these off, you get from 25 inches, you finish up with 6 inches of movement, which is not very good. This loses you 3 inches. So we have this option to put the magnet in there, take this off and just run that magnet to that magnet. So that's simply it. It's precision. It can be underslung, and it will take 180 kilos underslung on it. We have a spirit level in the centre to level the slider to start with, which is probably not level at the moment, but there you go. And we can fit across the underneath of here, which we'll see when we take this off, crossbars with vertical tubes, which with rubber suckers on that you can then put on the bonnet or the roof of a car, or you can make a freestanding frame. We could have this freestanding on 4 scaffold tubes here without a problem. On this particular slider there are 4 pairs of holes either side of centre, so we could have the bars here, or here, or here, or here. Or if it were to go over a windowsill or something like that, you could put a set of bars here and have that push out the window, and then when the head comes to the end it would look over the end. The rotational base is fixed in the centre of this. We do make an option whereby you can move it, but obviously it adds to the weight, increases the height, and it's more expensive, but that is an option. We can make these up to 4 metres long. We've made 2 of them 3 metres long, which were used on Clash of the Titans, basically because they were filming in a slate quarry on the top of a mountain and also in a volcano on Tenerife. And there was no way they were going to pay for a helicopter to get the stuff up there, so guys had to carry them. So they were built on a track format, precision ground rails, bar underneath, and then crossbars, and on the end of those crossbars you could fit this type of scaffold clamp. Then run a 3 metre tube down either side, And then it was nice and rigid off of those tubes. And then if you wanted in the studio to ring it in the ceiling, you just give it to the rigger and ask him to rig it up in the ceiling. There are some pictures on our website of one hung up in a ceiling and one of these underslung with an F7 off of a bazooka right in the curb looking up at the Tyne Bridge. That's on our unit there. So I'm going to take this off now and show you what's happening underneath. When you get to long lengths and heavy weights on the top of this, you need some support. So we have options under here to mount the crossbars. There are 4 pairs of holes on either side for you to mount crossbars onto it. And this stainless steel threaded bush is to mount a monopod. So if you have a lot of weight on it sliding, you can put the monopod underneath and give it some support. As you can see from this is all hollowed out to lose some of the weight. And this is the rotational lock. Goes back like so. And there we have the slider. There are a number of lightweight sliders out there for DSLR type of cameras. Yes, they're very light. There are a couple of problems with them. They're not very smooth and they're easily damaged. Whereas these are, I think we've only ever had one serious damage to this, and that was because a car ran over it. I took it off, laid it on the floor, and a car ran over the top of it. But other than that, we've never had any problems with these, and we've made quite a few of them now. It does also have a super smooth and quiet movement in it. You won't be able to hear this move. We had a number of people come up to us at shows of manufacturers' other sliders and said, yours is far smoother than ours. Obviously these rails are quite expensive to buy. There's somewhere in the region of £400 per metre. So you've got £800 worth there to start with, without the bearings and the carriage lock and the shock absorbers and things like that. So it's quite an expensive product to make. What we do at exhibitions is we will always cover this up at night with a polythene bag, and the first thing we'll do in the morning is take a clean rag, wipe down the rails, move this to one end right down there, and then on the same piece of rag you spray this it's like a silicone grease, and just wipe it along there, and you'll notice the difference how quickly and smoothly this moves from there to when it goes over the lubricated part, and then just wipe the other end, and that will stay like that all day. As you saw before we started shooting this clip, this is magnetic towards dust. It really attracts dust. And obviously you have to, if you keep it clean, it will work well for you.